The End of Oz, Chapter 12. A repeated thumping on the bedroom door pulled me out of the depths of sleep out of Knox's arms. I sat bolt upright. For a long second I had no idea where I was. The crystal veins in the cavern had dimmed while we slept, and I could barely make out the stone walls in the dim light. I wasn't wearing any clothes. Someone was pounding on the door, and I wasn't alone in the bed. And then I remembered. Knox was the person next to me. Knox. I'd slept with Knox. For another second I sat there with a grin that did not need the aid of PermaSmile. If I was honest with myself, the Amy I was before my trailer landed in Oz hadn't even allowed herself to really imagine having a boyfriend. Being close to Knox was a whole new kind of magic. Next to me, Knox stirred and groaned, flinging an arm over his eyes in protest before he sat up. "Hi," I said. I was blushing again, but at least this time it was dark. "Hi," he said. His smile looked the way I felt. "Come here." He pulled me into him with a long, passionate kiss, and then there was an even more forceful thump at the door. "All I want," Knox said in a low voice, tracing my collarbone with one finger in a way that definitely should not have made me feel the way it did. It was just a collarbone. "Is to spend the rest of my life in bed with you, but I guess we have to save the world or something." "Or something," I agreed reluctantly. I stretched and stood up with a sigh, locating my clothes at various points around the room and flushing yet again as I remembered how they'd ended up there. "Don't put those on," Knox protested. "Shut up," I said. I couldn't stop the idiotic grin that refused to leave my face. Then again, I didn't want to. "I mean it." I threw his shirt at him. "We have to go kill Dorothy. You said so. Also, the Gnome King is coming to kill us." He flopped backward dramatically. "Who cares anymore? I can think of way better things to do." I joined him on the bed, our shoulders touching. I always wanted some part of him touching some part of me. "What happens now?" I asked. "We get married, obviously. Oz custom," Knox said. "Shut up," I cried, elbowing him. "What happens for real, after we finally beat Dorothy and the Gnome King?" "Amy Gum always thinking about the future," Knox said, rolling over and toying with my hair. I wish I knew. Madison kicked the door again. "Hurry up," she bellowed. "We're coming," I yelled. Madison muttered something and stomped away. "You can't hate her forever," I said, as her steps died down. "You can't not still hate her a little. Or a lot." He searched my eyes. "She hurt you. When I came back, it didn't seem important anymore, hating her. It was so small compared to all the things we faced here. We need to be on the same page, Knox, all of us. There's no room for hate. We're fighting Dorothy and her super scary fiancé. If it were up to me, no one would hurt you." While he said this, his finger was tracing tiny circles on my arm. The action was unconscious on his part, and it affected me all the same. "I love you for that. I mean," I had said the words without thinking about it, but I meant the words. We had said it last night, but it was different in the light of day. Knox pushed back my hair and looked into my eyes. "I love you, Amy. I love you, Knox. When you asked before about our after, I don't care where we end up, as long as we're together. Together isn't a place, Knox. It is to me." Knox kissed me long and deep, and I knew then that we were going to be very late for breakfast. A half-hour later, I headed down first. Lang and Madison were hunched over the table, talking in low voices. They looked up when I came into the room, but they didn't move apart. They looked like they'd been there for a long time. "Where's Knox?" Lang asked. He's, I don't know," I said. I could feel how hot my cheeks were. Madison started to laugh. "Sure you don't, Ames." "I do not. I have no idea where he slept last night." Knox chose that exact moment to emerge from the same bedroom I just came out of, and Madison rolled her eyes. "Sleep well, Knox?" she asked sweetly. He looked confused. "I slept fine," he said, and she collapsed into giggles. "I bet you did," Madison snorted. Knock it off, Lang said sharply. She wasn't joking, and she wasn't talking to Madison either. My temper flared. At Madison for bringing up where Knox had slept, and at Lang for thinking she had any reason to weigh in, but mostly I was angry at the situation. No matter how much I wanted the opposite to be true, we were here for a reason that had nothing to do with what was happening between Knox and me, and at the same time, what was happening between Knox and me was what we were fighting for. I'm ready for business, I told her, sitting down at the table. Knox sat next to me, his thigh touching mine. I let myself lean into him a little. Madison's eyes flicked over me, but she didn't say anything this time. I don't know if you're ready for this, Lang said. The Gnome King's on his way? Knox was suddenly very, very serious. Lang shook her head, and for the first time I realized that she was almost at a loss for words. I've been invited to a wedding, she said. A wedding? I wasn't sure I'd heard her right. A wedding, she repeated. The Gnome King and Dorothy are getting married.